Welcome everybody to Go Local Live. It's Wednesday, it's Mott and Chase Day, and we are going down to really maybe the most important person in all of Rhode Island, not just as a top level realtor, but as a person who's got insights into Taylor Swift's wedding plans. We've got Donna Simmons. She is sort of the queen of Watch Hill. Donna, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, Josh, thank you for having me back, and happy Thanksgiving to you and to everyone.
Thanks so much. Let's do real estate first, and then we'll do wedding plans. It is a quirky time right now in Rhode Island real estate. A little herky-jerky. Things get a little disrupted with the federal shutdown in some sales. But the median price of a single-family home is still running at about $500,000 plus. What's your thoughts about sort of where things are right now and where you see them going over the course of the winter?
Well, it's been, as Watch Hill goes, which of course is a very different market, but in a pod or area like Watch Hill, real estate sales have been moderate. They are down from last year a little bit, but they're still at about the number of transactions and the total sales in Watch Hill proper have been about in the mid 40 million range, which is not tiny. I think this year it's all a bit about the quality of the inventory.
Yeah.
There are houses that are back on the market in Watch Hill that didn't sell last year, so they put them back on this year, and they're getting the same result. So it's the quality of the inventory and the desirability in many ways. At the lower end of the market, which I do have a number of sales in the sort of $400,000 to $700,000, and I'm still seeing vigorous activity, multiple offers. Some people taking advantage of a slightly down interest rate. We're still in the low sixes.
Right.
But it's also been a year where we've had a couple of knee-jerk reactions throughout the year. We started the year fairly strong, and then in early April, with a lot of the tariff talk, I think families began to analyze, is this the right time to buy? Are we going to face, increased inflation and other things, increased prices? And I think this year has been a little bit up and down and one of turmoil when people are thinking about their economic lives. And that has probably given people pause for
Yeah.
thought, but it doesn't mean that they are off the table. And again, this comes back to the quality of the inventory. If a
Yeah,
great
I want to
house,
pick up on that for a second. Yesterday, I think it was the Wall Street Journal had a piece that said sort of if you price your home too high, and it was a national story, there's a huge danger in pricing the house too high. You get sort of punished for it if you price it correctly. And I know there's a whole science to how you folks analyze the marketplace and what the comps are. But if you overprice that sort of desirable number you want as a seller, you really get punished, and it puts a little bit of a taint on the property. Talk a little bit about that.
it certainly can. And I have been guilty of it in the past, as is probably almost every other agent. And here's what happens in a market like today. The seller comes to an agent like myself and said, well, my house is doubled in value since 2020. And so, 2024 it was probably worth X. And so 2025, it must be worth X plus, 10 or 15 or 20%. And
Sure.
I think that's the first mistake that sellers make, and it is up to us as agents to talk to them about the market has really flattened out. And not only that, you're right, desirability really goes hand in hand with pricing, because if the pricing is right on a less desirable home, meaning a house that may have an old kitchen and old bathrooms, if the price is right, we'll all flock to it. But there's a house I know in Greenwich that I have clients interested in. The house is in the 500s, and my buyers think it should be priced in the 400s, and they're not
Yeah.
wrong because they will likely need to put uh, 75, $80,000 into the house. And when I asked the agent if there was any wiggle room, he said a little. But a little when you are perceived to be 75 to $100,000 over doesn't really get it. So
Yeah.
pricing right in this market is more important than it's ever been. And people I kind of think about it as, drunken sailors. We were drunk on the effervescence of an ever increasing market, and sellers, and it caught agents by surprise as well. That sort of in 2022, going into 2023, we saw us start, the beginnings of a flattening of the market, and that's again at the middle areas and the upper ends. There have been so few houses that have come on in the, sort of 3 or 4 to $700,000 range, that it's, they get snapped up the minute that they are on the market, regardless of the style and the quality
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what needs to be done. So it's
Donna, the phone is ringing from sailors complaining about your derogatory comment about them all being drunk.
well,
So
now I'm not saying
we'll
all
make
of
a
them.
PSA. We'll apologize now to all drunken sailors right now.
And I'm sure they're all tuned in to this this
Absolutely. Yep, they're in
podcast.
port right now and tuned in from the bridge. Uh,
Correct.
talk a little bit. One of the reasons why we love to have you on is you sell many of the premium properties down in Watch Hill, and that aspirational. Forget the aspirational pricing. We want to hear about the aspirational living opportunities. What does the market look like? What's the height of the market? What's on the market right now?
Well, this year the biggest sale that we've had was 11.7 million, and
Yeah,
that was something that I sold in January. Since then, we've had a couple of beach houses that have sold in the $8 million range that needed quite a bit of renovation, but they were close to the beach and were gracious, lovely houses that just needed a lot of TLC.
sure.
So we have had selective sales, yet there's another house that's right on the cove, looks out, has beautiful sunset views, and the house is gorgeous, and it has just sat there and sat there and sat there. So there's this also, it's a great house. It's probably well priced, but I know a couple of my clients have said, well, it's in the flood zone. And
Hmm.
so that is beginning to take hold more as people make their decisions. And one of the properties that I have, which is really a land listing that is 2.6 of the most gorgeous acres overlooking Fisher's Island, Napatree Point, and Westerly, and also looking onto Stonington Harbor. So you have a beautiful three-state view. And as the summer wore on, many of the comments also came back from potential buyers as to, well, what does this mean in terms of the quote Taylor Swift tax, which is really a
Sure.
non-resident tax. And while it may or may not, adversely affect the market at the very high end, smart buyers are at least considering it. And one of the things that could happen, and I saw it when I sold in Greenwich, Connecticut, is that people from New York City would leapfrog over all of the bedroom communities in New York. And Greenwich, Connecticut was the first town in Connecticut past the New York State line.
Sure.
And we benefited greatly. Our real estate prices, because our taxes were so much lower. And it's sort of a quiet migration, but I do believe that that is going to contribute over the long haul to some of our buyers saying, "Oh, great, I'll just go to Massachusetts or I'll
Yeah, yeah.
stay somewhere on the Connecticut shoreline." So there's a lot of dynamics coming to play right now in the Rhode Island real estate market.
Okay, let's go to the biggest news. At some point in the near future, Taylor Swift is going to marry Mr. Kelsey. It is widely rumored that the wedding is going to take place somewhere in Watch Hill. She did some improvements to her house, maybe in anticipation of this event or for some other reason. What's your thoughts about it? Is it going to happen in Watch Hill? When's it going to happen?
Well, I do happen to have a little bit of inside information, and the answer is maybe or maybe not. It's been
Cruel, cruel, Donna,
yes,
cruel.
right. You heard it here first.
If you were a
Um,
betting woman, I know you're a church-going woman, not hanging out with drunken sailors,
oh,
but
I
if
don't
you
know
were
about
a
that.
betting woman, what would you bet on?
I would bet on no.
No.
And the reason why is that if you've ever, I mean, you've been in Watch Hill, it's a
Oh,
tiny little peninsula. And when we had the wonderful former Miss Universe,
oh,
Olivia Copo get married, it was impossible to navigate
yeah.
around that little tiny peninsula in the summertime. I just, it's fine if they do. I think it would cause some major, maybe security challenges, just trying to give them the peace and quiet and serenity that they would like to have on their special day. So I don't have any other inside information except maybe and maybe not. But we wish them well. What a wonderful couple. And I will say that Taylor Swift has been a great neighbor, and through a collaboration, with her father, Scott Swift, he was able to introduce our wonderful United Theater to the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, which is where Taylor Swift was discovered.
Right,
And
right,
now we are sort of renamed in Westerly as Nashville North. And
right, right.
that is because of her caring and her family's caring about the community in which they do have a house. And I'm sure they're that way in other locales where they also own properties. So anyway, I wish them well. I do have a wedding present for them, and I'm just waiting where to send it.
I think when you get invited, you just put it on the table when you come in, like everybody else. I
Oh,
believe
I
that's,
love it.
yeah, yeah.
That's so funny. Well, now you need to get it to them ahead of time so that they can get it, screened and make sure
Listen,
it's
I think
okay.
if you register at Target, they take care of mailing it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure that's
Sounds like
all
a plan.
squared away. Um,
Sounds like a plan to me.
Donna, listen, thanks so much for joining us on Thanksgiving Eve and for the insights on really what's going on in the market. Greatly appreciate your insights always. And for everybody, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. The news won't stop at GoLocal. We'll have a major story up shortly, a major story up shortly. So stay tuned for that as well. And everybody have a great time tomorrow, healthy, and enjoy their family and friends. Thanks, everybody.